Stop shouting, stop threatening, stop saying I will deal with you when your father comes back. Because here is the painful truth. If fear was effective discipline, African homes would produce the most emotionally healthy adults. But that's not what we see. Today, I will show you discipline that actually works for young children, without beating, without screaming, and without raising stubborn kids. Stay till the end. Number 4 will shock many parents. If you are tired of repeating yourself, tired of punishment not working, tired of feeling guilty after shouting, this video is for you. Let's talk about discipline that builds character, not just obedience. Discipline that actually works for young children, without yelling or beating. Discipline is teaching, not punishing. Let's correct something first. Many of us grew up believing discipline means pain. That if a child cries, learning has happened. If a child is afraid, respect has been achieved. But listen carefully, fear does not teach wisdom, it teaches survival. When a child is scared, the brain shuts down. They're not thinking, I understand what I did wrong. They're thinking, how do I avoid getting beaten next time? That's not character, that's hiding. Real discipline is not about breaking a child's will. It is about building a child's skill. Skill to control emotions, skill to solve problems, skill to choose right even when nobody is watching. Let me give you a simple example. Your 2-year-old pours water on the floor. Many parents react with anger. Are you crazy? See what you've done? But the child was not being stubborn. They were being curious. They were learning how the world works. So instead of shouting, you kneel down and say, water spilled. Let's clean it together. Now you just taught responsibility, problem solving, ownership. Punishment ends the behavior. Teaching changes the behavior. Punishment controls the moment. Teaching shapes the future. And here's the powerful part. When children feel safe to make mistakes, they grow brave enough to improve. But when children fear mistakes, they grow smart at pretending. Discipline that works does not ask, how do I make this child suffer? It asks, how do I help this child grow? Because you're not just correcting behavior, you're building a human being. Connection before correction. Now listen closely. Because this one changes everything. You cannot correct a child who feels attacked. You cannot teach a child who feels threatened. And you cannot guide a child who feels rejected. Before correction must come connection. Think about it. When you are angry and someone shouts at you, do you listen? Or do you shut down? Children are no different. Small body, big emotions. Little voice, heavy feelings. When a child misbehaves, what they are often saying is, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know how to handle this. I need help. But many parents hear disrespect. They hear stubbornness. They hear embarrassment. So they attack the behavior and lose the child. Connection looks simple, but it is powerful. You pause. You bend down. You come to their eye level. You soften your voice. You say their name. Not shouting from the kitchen, not screaming across the room, but meeting them where they are, instead of, stop that nonsense right now. Try, I see you're upset. I'm here, but we don't hit. Now the child feels seen, and when a child feels seen, they are more willing to be guided. Because correction without connection feels like rejection. But correction with connection feels like protection. You're not saying, you are bad. You're saying, your behavior needs adjustment, but you are still loved. And that is how you discipline without damaging dignity. That is how you correct without crushing confidence. Remember this? Rules without relationship create rebellion. But relationship with rules creates respect. So before you raise your voice, lower your body. Before you punish, pause and connect. Before you correct, make sure the heart is open. Because once the heart is open, the lesson can finally enter. Have you ever felt like being a calm parent means you have to be a pushover? Let's bust that myth right now. True connection with our kids isn't about being soft without any structure. Real, Deep love isn't just about endless cuddles and saying yes to everything. It's also about setting loving limits. Many of us confuse calm parenting with weak parenting, but they are worlds apart. Think about it. Children don't actually thrive in a free-for-all. They feel safest when they know what the rules are, when the lines are clear. This clarity, these boundaries, are like the guardrails on a bridge. They don't restrict the journey. They make it safe to cross. When we are consistent with these boundaries, we're not being mean. We're building something incredibly precious. Trust. Kids learn they can count on us. And that consistency naturally leads to more cooperation. It's all about finding that beautiful balance. We can be gentle with their big emotions, validating how they feel, while still being firm and clear about where the limits are. So, let's redefine what it means to be a calm parent. It's not about never saying no. It's about saying no with confidence, kindness, and a steady heart. It's about being the calm, confident leader our children need. Natural consequences work better than punishment. Now, this one will challenge how many of us were raised, because most homes were built on punishment. But strong character is built on consequences. Punishment says, you did wrong, now suffer. Consequences say, you did wrong, now learn. Punishment comes from anger. Consequences come from wisdom. Punishment is about power. Consequences are about preparation. Let's break it down. When a child throws their toy, many parents shout and beat. But what did the child really learn? To fear you, not to respect the toy. Instead, try this. You threw it, so we keep it away for now. No shouting, no drama, just action tied to behavior. Now the brain connects the dots. Action, result. Choice, outcome. That's real learning. Another example. Your child refuses to eat food. Instead of forcing the spoon inside their mouth, you may allow hunger to teach responsibility. When they feel small hunger, they learn big lessons. Life becomes the teacher, not Cain. Reality becomes the classroom, not shouting. And here's the beauty of natural consequences. They don't attack dignity. They don't damage trust. They don't break connection. They are calm. They are fair. They are predictable. And children thrive on predictable. When consequences are consistent, children become conscious of choices. They start thinking before acting. They start pausing before reacting. Because now discipline is not about escaping punishment. It's about making better decisions. Remember this line, punishment creates fear? Consequences create wisdom. One controls the child for the moment. The other prepares the child for life. So stop asking, how do I make this hurt? Start asking, what lesson does this teach? Because the goal is not obedience today. The goal is responsibility tomorrow. Model what you want to see. Now let's talk about the mirror. Because whether you like it or not, you are the example. Your child is watching when you're calm. They're watching when you're angry. They're watching how you talk to your spouse. They're watching how you handle stress. You don't raise children by instruction alone. You raise them by demonstration. You can tell a child, don't shout all day. But if shouting is what they hear, shouting is what they learn. You can preach respect, but if you insult people at home, disrespect becomes normal. Children don't copy your advice. They copy your habits. They don't imitate your words. They imitate your world. If you slam doors, they learn aggression. If you keep quiet and breathe, they learn self-control. If you apologize when you're wrong, they learn humility. If you listen, they learn empathy. And here's the uncomfortable truth. You cannot teach emotional control while losing emotional control. You cannot teach patience while practicing pressure. You cannot demand calmness while delivering chaos. So instead of asking, how do I change my child? Ask first, what do I need to change in myself? Because parenting is not about perfection. It's about reflection. When you grow, they grow. When you heal, they heal. When you shift, they shift. So be the tone you want to hear. Be the respect you want to receive. Be the calm you want to see. Because the strongest discipline tool is not your voice, it is your behavior, and the greatest lesson your child will ever learn is the one you live in front of them every day. What to do during tantrums? Now let's talk about the moment that tests every parent's patience. The supermarket meltdown, the sitting on the floor screaming, the kicking, crying, rolling drama, the tantrum. First, understand this. A tantrum is not manipulation. It is emotional overload. The child's feelings are bigger than their ability to control them. Their emotions are driving, and their brain is in the back seat. So shouting at a tantrum is like shouting at a storm. It does not calm it. It only makes it louder. When your child is melting down, do not embarrass them. Do not threaten them. Do not start negotiating in panic. Instead, stay close, stay calm, stay grounded. Your calm becomes their calm. Your stability becomes their safety. You don't need long lectures. You don't need big grammar. Your presence speaks louder than your words. If they are safe, let the emotion pass. If they need support, offer a quiet hug. If they push you away, stay nearby without forcing. Because connection during chaos builds trust for life. After the storm passes, then you teach. Not during the scream, not during the tears. You wait until the brain is calm. Then you say, I know you were angry. Next time, we use words, not the floor. That's how emotional regulation is learned. Not by fear, but by guidance. Remember this, you are not raising calm children. You are raising children who can learn to calm themselves. And every tantrum is not a problem. It is a practice ground, a chance to teach coping, a chance to teach control, a chance to teach growth. So next time your child melts down, don't lose your mind. Become their anchor. Because storms don't need shouting, they need shelter. Remember this, you are not raising children to fear you. You are raising adults to respect themselves. Discipline that works is not about control. It's about guidance. If this helped you, LIKE, share with another parent, and subscribe. Comment below, what is the hardest part of disciplining your child?